I'm 23 years old and I'm at the airport with my backpack on, ready to go on my first solo trip backpacking in Australia and New Zealand. I'm leaving my mom and my first love behind, but I'm not crying. Picture a little bird with those tiny wings, which is not ready to fly yet. I've been feeling like that for a really long time. I didn't really feel able to make my own decisions. And when I did, it didn't really turn out well. The worst decision I made was lying to my mom. I'm working at a beach bar and she's always there for me. She always picks me up to bring me home safely, no matter what time it is. And at this beach bar, I met this guy and he draws everyone's attention and everyone is laughing at his jokes. And this guy, he protects my lunch. He makes sure that no colleagues are putting hot sauce on my sandwich. And also, he makes sure that I'm okay. He takes care of me. And when I accidentally throw a full tray of beers all over myself, he's the one who gets me a clean t-shirt. So I'm so happy when he suggests to bring me home by bike, and my mom agrees. So I'm so happy that we're driving home by bike together. But it didn't take long because my mom noticed that he was drunk while he was bringing me home and she thought that's not that safe. So after that, she was picking me up by car again. And we really wanted to spend time together. So after work, we secretly spent some time together at the beach before my mom was going to pick me up. And I'm walking to my mom's car, so far so good. But then I noticed that I forgot my bag. And it's not at the beach bar, it's at a random spot on the beach somewhere. So I tell my mom, I'm going to pick up my bag and I'm walking towards the beach bar, which is pretty close, so it shouldn't take too long. And I just start running towards my bag. I sprint towards the sand, but it's not that easy to make my way through. It's already dark, it's late, and it's pitch black. So I don't really see where I'm going, so it also takes a little bit longer than expected. And when I come back to my mom, I see that she's already outside of the car. And I hear a trembling voice calling out my name. And I think, oh, I'm here, I'm okay. But it's already too late, and I see that my mom is so terribly worried. I've never seen her like this. I've seen her worried, but nothing like this. And my appearance is not enough to calm her down. So when she's still shaky, she gets back in the car, I'm sitting next to her, and we're both crying, and I really don't know what to do. And we're driving home without saying a word. And when we reach home, my dad also got mad at me. And I'm crying in the attic of my parental home in my bed. I think, I don't want to cause any trouble. I just want to avoid this. And I start tiptoeing around. Not only with my parents, also with my friends and with my boyfriend. So when we're walking down a shopping street, and it is the beach bar guy, by the way. When we're walking down that shopping street, I want to take a look at the shop. And he says, no, you're not going to take a look at the shop. And I just agree. I'm not really thinking for myself at the time. Until I decide to break up with him. Actually, he broke up with me first. Then we got back together. And I was like, okay, but now it doesn't feel right for me anymore. So I'm on my scooter, on my way to his parents' home, because we're both still living with our parents. And we go upstairs to his bedroom. And I tell him I want to break up. And he's sitting on the bed, and I'm standing in front of him. And it breaks my heart in 1,000 pieces to hurt him with my decision. And my solution for that moment was I just never go back in a relationship again. So I never have to break up again. But somehow we kept on seeing each other. Even when I made the biggest decision of my life, which was going on my solo trip to Australia and New Zealand. He joins me at one of those information evenings that we're sitting in a classroom next to each other on plastic chairs, watching a PowerPoint presentation about all the possibilities in Australia. And they come up with the idea of renting a camper van. And I think, yeah, that's not something I'm going to do by myself. So we decided to book a camper van trip for 2 months of my 5-month trip. I think after those 2 months, because we're sticking together, we're off and on again. After those 2 months, I know I'm going to marry this guy or we're going to break up for good. So that's how I end up at the airport. And I'm craving for my freedom. And it feels like I'm ready to spread my wings and I cannot wait. And it takes me 3 flights, more than 50 hours to reach my final destination in New Zealand. And when I'm landing in New Zealand finally, my eyes are still wide open. And I look outside the window and the nature is so beautiful, so bright, so blue, so green. I cannot wait to walk around there. And the first thing I do is look at every souvenir shop I can find. Because there's no one waiting for me outside. And I can take as much time as I want. So I've seen them all. And I can tell you, every shop sells the same stuff. And I did everything I wanted. I went skydiving, I went bungee jumping, even rafting from a waterfall. I didn't know that was possible. And in the end it turned out it isn't. Everyone capsized. And then when I went to Australia, I met this guy. He was the ping pong master of the hostel. And he was making those ham cheese sandwiches in a pan for everyone. And I felt taken care of again. And he made sure that I always had a drink when I was with him and his friends. And the longer I spent time by myself, the more I started doubting the decision of the camper van trip. And I think the most honest thing I can do is call him and tell him. So with all the courage I have in my body, I make the call home to tell him that I hesitate about him coming over and about our relationship. And he convinces me. He says everything will be all right, the moment I arrive in Australia. I think, yeah, it's a little bit too late to reconsider this decision now, so yeah, we will make it work. So that day, when he arrives at Melbourne Airport, I'm walking inside this massive airport and I just look for the arrivals hall sign. And every step I take, it feels like I'm losing my freedom again. And I think, yeah, you cannot do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Come on, just adjust yourself to the situation again. And I reach those doors of the arrivals hall and they close and open and close and open. And I'm just staring at them, waiting for my boyfriend to arrive. And I'm standing next to those persons with flowers and balloons, and I cannot wait to be reunited with their loved ones, I guess. And I know I should feel the same, but I can only stare at those doors and they still close and open, and it feels like it takes ages. But then suddenly he pops up behind those doors and our eyes meet and my breath catches. And I feel my heart pounding in my chest while he's walking towards me. And I think I see a little bit of doubt and hope in his eyes as well. And when he reaches me, he hugs me. And I start crying while I'm looking at our feet. And at that moment, I think going to the other side of the world is not the solution for feeling the freedom to make my own choices. And I'm so busy not to upset or hurt someone else. Well, I'm hurting myself. And even now, I still feel the fear of hurting or upsetting someone else by telling my story. But here I am. I'm not avoiding making my own decisions anymore. From now on, I'm facing them, the consequences.